the town. I can hear them all say, do-wop, listen to the music, 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 do-wop. Yes! Not bad, I don't think they're bad, even if sometimes it looks so mad. Guys in town, the guys in town, and everybody's talking about him. Won't you play the pep song to make me strong? You will see I will make it if I do. Take me to the power, get out of the corner, take me to the border. I will make it as they do. I can see them run about the town. I can hear them all sing, ba-da-ba-ba-da-doo-wop, listen to the music, doo-wop, listen to the music, doo-wop. Yes! They have changed the same old scene. It's not a story in a magazine. Guys in town, they're hanging around. Don't you know they'll never let you down? I believe in what I feel to make it real. Won't you sing? I will make it if I do. Take me to the power, get out of the corner, take me to the border. I will make it as they do. I can see them run by the town. I can hear them all sing, ba-da-ba-ba-da-doo-wop, listen to the music, doo-wop, listen to the music, doo-wop. Who wants the battle? I got the battle. Who wants the battle? Say what?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. If you happen to be in the United States of America, good afternoon. If you happen to be in Europe, and if you're in Korea, what the hell are you doing awake? My name is Totalbiscuit, and I'll be bringing you this match of the Acer Teamstory Cup between Complexity and Team Mousesports. Shaking off the rust right here with a little bit of a solo cast. It's going to be opening up with two fantastic Terran players, and I'm hoping you have about as much fun as I do, approximately. So here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Star Station. It's my pleasure to bring you Mousesports Luciferon. He is in the red trunks and he is playing Terran. Yes, he is, to the southeast of the Star Station, versus his opponent in the cross position, which is, of course, the only way you can spawn on Star Station anymore, assuming that you ever use Star Station in your map pool anymore. It is Complexity's the STC, in the blue trunks, also playing Terran. Now, I gotta say, the STC is a bit of a monster. When it comes to team leagues, he really, really is. If you want an example, he 4-killed Axiom. He also lives in the house with Axiom, which doesn't help because he knows all of our builds. But whatever the case, he 4-killed Axiom, which is very, very impressive indeed. And he has been putting up some phenomenal results in the team league. He hasn't really been focusing too much on anything else since he was eliminated from WCS Premier Division. However, he's been able to put up some really, really good team league results, which is very impressive. Lucifer, on the other hand, once a monster, not quite as scary now. Still scary, don't get me wrong. Still capable of taking games, especially in a team series where it's best of one from the best in the world. But nowhere near as dominant as he used to be. His brother Vortex seems to be doing a lot better. So, we will see. This, I think, is going to be a fairly evenly matched TVT between these two. Lucifer is going to start up with a gasless opening here, and his opponent goes for the 12-12, which is reasonably indicative that he wants to go for a Reaper. That said, he is mining gas a hell of a lot earlier. So, actually, that wasn't a 12-12, was it? That was a gas first. That barracks should have been finished by now, if that was a 12-12. So, that's a little bit unusual. Gas first. So, we might see a Banshee opening from him. There's a couple of possibilities. It could be an early Hellion opening. Cloaked Banshee openings have got way more popular since the cost of those things was cut in half. Marine going to come out right here, and just, if you look at how much he's actually got on there, Lucifron, of course, knows there's a factory coming down. He was able to scout that immediately, and STC also knew that he would have been able to scout the factory, because it is cross-position only on this map. He didn't wall off, so he let him do it. The question is, what does he decide to do behind that? This Marine's going to come out and eventually push this SCV away. Now, Lucifron does not know whether this is a factory to go straight into a starport, which it very well could be. There are no SCVs out on the map for the STC, so we're not going to see any kind of proxy Banshee nonsense. Or it could be a factory for Hellions. But if it was for Hellions, we would have seen a reactor coming out on this barracks pretty much immediately for the swap over to go straight into Reactor Hellion. But that's not what we're seeing. So, very likely we'll see a Banshee opening here. There you go. Now, you might wonder, of course, why would he go Banshee opening? Well, for one thing, it's very, very good, especially if you happen to back it up. The only other thing it could be is kind of an early elevator play. That's also a possibility. I don't necessarily want to tell you, hey, it's a Banshee opening guaranteed. It's likely to be, especially with this tech lab now coming down here for the swap over, but it could be an elevator play with a medevac. It's unlikely, though. Yeah, this is a TBT build that a lot of the guys in the Axiom houses have been using. So if STC has been practicing with Ryong, has been practicing with Hart particularly, who uses this opening a lot, then it's quite likely that he will be using a very similar build. It's slightly accelerated based on some of the other Banshee builds that I've seen. It may not even be with Cloak. And as you can see, he has so little gas that it looks like it's not going to be. So, for the moment, it's going to be an uncloaked Banshee. It's going to be, for the most part, a little bit of frontal pressure. And STC is going to lose that Hellion almost immediately. That was not good at all, actually. Not a great start for him. Didn't need to lose that Hellion. He took an unnecessary risk. I think he thought maybe, just maybe, he could have got up the ramp. And as a result, he ran up there. Lucifron was waiting for him, ambushed him immediately. And this is actually a Banshee expand here, as you can see. STC is going to put a command center behind it. Cloak is not forthcoming from the STC. And there's a reactor coming down here, so it's likely that we will not see Cloak at all in this game. We might see it later on. That's a possibility. Every now and again, there's a transition into Cloak when it's unexpected, but STC getting the slightly better end of that engagement there. Starport coming up with a Viking immediately. So this is going to shut down this Banshee pretty effectively. Obviously, Lucifron has figured out what it is based on the number of Hellions that he saw and the number of Marines. And STC is actually getting super greedy behind this. He's getting a second command center immediately. Only a single Banshee out in the field here. He is going to get Cloak, but it's going to be very, very late. So he needs to be a little bit careful. Lucifron could have determined, based on the fact that there weren't enough Hellions on the field, that this was not, in fact, some kind of Reactor Hellion early play or Blue Flame or anything like that. Out comes the Viking, and that's going to drive Banshee away. Vikings move slightly slower than Banshees, so it will be able to escape. Good engagement there for Lucifron to catch a couple of Hellions out and get the better end of that. But those can be repaired, so it's not too shabby. And Cloak will be coming in, and Lucifron knows that this is a possibility, so he's bringing in a Raven to deal with that as well. The funny thing about this is that what STC has done is he's feigned a lot of early aggression, and that's exactly not what he was doing. And he wanted to double expand behind it and get incredibly greedy. And right now, Lucifron does not have an army of any sort on the field that could actually push. Not one. There is drop potential. That's what I will say. After the Raven, we might see a medevac. And then we may see a drop into the main or the natural. And the forces of STC are even more limited. There's really only that Banshee kind of hanging around, and it's being driven away. It's managed to get away from the Viking. Cloak is done. Lucifron's going to get his own Cloak here as well. So he wants to use Cloak Banshee at some point. But the Raven's in play, so if Lucifron stays on top of that with the Viking, then he will be able to get rid of it. There are no turrets up, so... Oh, STC taking a lot of damage there. Nice little bit of defense from Lucifron, getting a lot of bullets into that Banshee, and the Raven's going to continue to accompany that. There's really no way that this Banshee, I think, is going to do any more damage. However, that was not the plan. He wanted to draw his opponent away and get a good shot off and take out a couple of workers, and I do mean only a couple. Didn't do a huge amount of damage. He didn't clean this out. There were at least enough Hellions there. But honestly, I think STC could have gone in there and killed the Hellions. Those Hellions were badly damaged. His less so. And there are more of them for STC. So maybe he's being a little bit overly cautious there. But you can certainly understand. If he lost his entire standing army, this greed behind it would be a great risk. So his priority right now is to softly contain his opponent and make sure that his greed doesn't go unpunished. There's still no extra command center here from Lucifron, so the STC is going to take an economic lead pretty damn soon if he hasn't taken one already, and he has by about 4 SCVs, and of course an extra meal on top of that. This Banshee gets a few more kills, which is always nice, and that's 8 workers killed now. Very, very effective. There's a couple taken out in the natural there by the Hellions, so this Banshee, despite the fact that it really shouldn't have been effective, it was, and that's quite surprising. And this Raven's been hanging around with the Viking. You'd think that would be enough, but it looks like STC managed to slip it into a gap there. In comes the Banshee to help with this, and the STC getting the better end of this engagement as well. Only slightly, still taking a lot of damage. Oh, that was not a good idea. STC comes in at a reasonably bad angle and takes a couple of really good shots there, and Lucifron now has the Hellion lead. In my opinion, we have to see STC back off now and go into a defensive posture. Lucifron now moving across the map with the Banshee. The third base is up. There are no turrets to speak of, and there is no Raven. This could do a lot of damage. Scans are currently not available. Right, there's one that's just popped in. Did it just get used? Did he just burn that? Oh, that was a mistake. This is going to be a lot of damage cut out here from Lucifron. This cloak is going to be up for another 25 seconds. He can stop the building of the missile turret forever. Oh, man, this was a mistake by the STC. Should not have used that scan there. Should have held it. But even then, got to bear in mind, STC doesn't have much on the ground. He only has a Viking. Just one Viking, which is not enough to kill out. He's going to lose at least half his natural here. And that is a lot of kills. He's already equalized it up really nicely. 12 kills on that Banshee. Very effective play there by Lucifron. He will lose the Banshee, but that's absolutely fine. And that has actually put Lucifron in a pretty decent spot. Lucifron still does not know about the third, and he hasn't scouted the main base, so he doesn't see the number of production facilities being reduced. But I think he smells it, considering he saw a very limited amount of resistance at the natural there. So he will try to get aggressive. However, in the meantime, the STC has established a series of tanks, and he's also got a couple of Banshees and a Viking out. So attacking this base could be a little bit difficult. You could go for the run-by into this base and go straight into the mineral line, but it wouldn't do much. There's only a few SCVs there, so that really doesn't make a huge amount of difference. So economically, the STC is still in a pretty good spot with that extra command center. And in comes the Banshee, tries to take out a tank. It doesn't work. Lots of Vikings now out in the field, so Banshee play is going to be rendered pretty damn ineffective. And of course, if the tank wars begin, then this Viking count for the STC is going to be very useful. It'll allow him to maintain that air superiority. Blue Flame Hellion on the way here for Lucifron, considering he's sitting on 16 Hellions. That's a really great amount. Ooh, STC already has it, though. And he's going to get... STC could have maybe got the better end of that trade, but he took a couple more shots than he needed to there, so that didn't happen. Now the tank's moving out, so we've got mech on mech coming in, and those Hellions just get absolutely obliterated. The STC has more tanks available, but he's not targeting them down very well. He's not focusing fire, and as a result, he lost a couple more tanks, and he's going to lose all of them. So Lucifron is probably pretty happy with that, honestly. He takes a supply deficit, which is not great, but he did kill 4 tanks, which is not that bad, and he also got out with a few of his own tanks. So I think the STC could have done a better job there. He was fighting the Vikings instead of targeting the tanks down immediately, which were the far higher damage units. So I think he could have saved a tank or two. Now STC coming in with the counter-aggression. And those missile turrets are going to be too little too late. A couple of Banshees in there as well are going to absolutely destroy that. And he may be able to take a toll on tanks. If he's quick enough, he can take out this missile turret. But it looks like he's not going to be quick enough to do that. So he's going to move in. He's still got tanks here that he can shoot. And scan goes down. Not enough Marines. If STC target fires this down, these tanks are going to be absolute fish food. And one's going down here as well. So this is getting messy. In come some Hellions as well. Vikings come in to land. And the Viking superiority in the hands of the STC. Wow, these Banshees going to work. In the meantime, a Blue Flame Hellion run by doing significant economic damage here. This entire mineral line looks like it's going to go down. A couple of tanks come in to save it, so maybe some of it will survive. These Banshees have done work. Wow. So much damage on both sides. Lucifron GG's, and the STC takes the first in this best of 9 series. Wow, that was action all the way through. We had mech on mech there and plenty of Banshee play, and I gotta say, The Koreans are pretty damn good at their Banshee play these days, and it seems like the Europeans do need to catch up just a little bit. Luciform played really well, but I feel that early advantage from the 3rd CC, which went unpunished, put the STC in a position where really he couldn't lose without making massive mistakes. And the engagements in the center of the map were not too great for him. They weren't ideal, but they were good enough. So there you go. One on the board there for the STC. Lucifron quickly going down. So Mousesports has a number of different options. We could see Vortex coming out, but it would be a little bit early for that, I think. I would expect one of the stronger Protoss players to come out here from Mousesports. We'll see if that happens after this short break. Alright guys, just a quick note, I need to restart the stream. It seems like Twitch reset my stream delay, so it's gonna be about 2 minutes off, and then I'll be back with more from the Acer Teamstory Cup. Thanks for your patience.